Have you ever felt a moment of intimacy so profound it seemed to touch something beyond the physical, something eternal? Why does the act of sex, a fleeting dance of bodies, carry a power that lingers in your soul, whispering secrets you can't quite name? In ancient texts, from the Emerald Tablet to the Zohar, desire is not just human instinct, but a sacred alchemy, a bridge between the mortal and the divine. The mystic Aleister Crowley once wrote, "Love is the law, love under will," suggesting that our deepest passions are more than urges, they're rituals of cosmic creation. But what is it about sex that feels like touching the infinite? Is it a gateway to the divine, or a trap that binds us to the earth? Let's step into this mystery together, peeling back the layers of history, philosophy, and spirituality to uncover why desire holds such profound power. Imagine standing at the edge of a temple, the air thick with incense, ready to discover a truth that's been whispered for millennia. Are you ready to cross that threshold? Picture yourself in ancient Egypt, where the sun sets over the Nile, and priests in linen robes gather in shadowed temples. They believed sex was not just an act, but a sacred rite, a mirror of the universe's creation. The god Osiris and goddess Isis, through their divine union, birthed the world, their love a cosmic blueprint. This wasn't mere mythology, it was a philosophy, etched into the Corpus Hermeticum, which teaches that all creation flows from the union of opposites. Sex, in this view, is a microcosm of that divine act, a moment where two souls reenact the birth of existence. The Kybalion, a Hermetic text, calls this the law of gender. Every act of creation, from a thought to a child, requires a masculine and feminine principle. But this isn't about biology, it's about energy, the interplay of giving and receiving, of will and surrender. When you embrace someone in passion, you're not just touching their body, you're weaving energies that echo the stars. Isn't it strange to think that a moment of intimacy could hold such cosmic weight? Yet the ancients saw no separation between the physical and the spiritual. To them, desire was a spark of the divine fire, a fragment of the infinite. Have you ever felt that spark, that moment when time seems to dissolve? The Egyptians weren't alone in this reverence. Across cultures, from the tantric temples of India to the shamanic rites of Mesopotamia, sex was a sacred act, a way to commune with the divine. The Emerald Tablet, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, speaks of the one thing, the primal substance that unites all. Desire in its purest form is that substance, a force that creates, transforms, and transcends. But it's not just about the act itself, it's about intention. The priests of old approached intimacy with ritual, with offerings of incense and chants, because they knew that every act of love ripples through the cosmos. Imagine if you brought that same reverence to your own life, not with pomp and ceremony, but with a quiet awareness that every touch is a prayer. What would that feel like? To see your partner not just as a person, but as a reflection of the divine. It's a perspective that shifts everything, inviting you to see the sacred in the everyday. This idea of sex as creation isn't just ancient lore, it's woven into the fabric of our being. Modern science hints at this. During intimacy, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which fosters trust and connection. The heart's electromagnetic field, measurable by science, synchronizes with your partner's, as if your bodies are tuning to a shared frequency. It's as if the universe designed us to merge, to create something greater than ourselves. The Kybalion's law of vibration supports this. Everything resonates, and when two people come together in love, their energies form a symphony. But here's the question, are you playing in harmony, or are you caught in discord? The ancients believed that intention shapes the outcome, that a moment of passion could either lift you toward the stars or anchor you to the earth. When have you felt that difference? That sense that some moments of love are fleeting, while others linger like a sacred echo? Now let's travel to medieval Spain, where Kabbalistic mystics pored over the Zohar, their candlelit rooms filled with whispers of the divine. They spoke of the Shekinah, the feminine presence of God, and Tefere, the masculine heart of the divine. Their union, they believed, was the source of all creation, a sacred marriage that sustained the cosmos. Sex in this tradition was a holy act, a way to elevate the mundane to the divine. The Zohar describes the soul as having three parts, nefesh, ruach, and neshama, and intimacy, when intentional, could lift the nefesh, the vital soul, toward the higher neshama, closer to God. But there was a warning. Desire without purpose could trap the soul in the lower realms, chaining it to the material. This duality fascinated me when I first read it. How could the same act be both a ladder to heaven and a weight that binds us? It's like standing at a crossroads where every choice in love shapes the path of your spirit. Have you ever felt that pull, that sense that your desires are leading you somewhere deeper? The Kabbalists were meticulous in their approach. They believed that every act, especially one as powerful as sex, carried spiritual consequences. The Zohar speaks of the klipo, the husks of the material world that cling to the soul when actions lack intention. In intimacy, this means approaching your partner with reverence, not just for their body, but for their soul. It's a radical idea in our fast-paced world, where love is often rushed or transactional. But imagine pausing before a moment of connection, taking a breath and asking, what am I creating here? The Kabbalists would say you're not just creating a moment, you're weaving a thread in the tapestry of the divine. This perspective resonates with Spinoza's philosophy, where God is the substance of all things. Every act of love, in this view, is an expression of the infinite, a chance to align with the universal flow. Have you ever felt that alignment, that moment when love feels like coming home? This sacred view of sex wasn't limited to the Kabbalists. In the East, tantric traditions, which share roots with Hermeticism, treat intimacy as a meditative act. Tantric practitioners spend hours preparing, aligning breath and energy because they believe orgasm is a glimpse of the divine, a moment when the veil between worlds thins. Reading about Tantra, I was struck by its reverence. It's not about speed or conquest, but about presence. The Kama Sutra, often misunderstood as a mere manual, is actually a spiritual text, teaching that love is an art form, a way to transcend the self. This echoes the Zohar's call for intentionality, but it adds a layer of joy, a celebration of the body as a temple. What would it mean to approach your own desires with that kind of care? To see every touch as a brushstroke on a canvas of eternity? It's a practice that invites us to slow down, to savor, to connect not just with our partner but with the divine within them. But the Kabbalists also remind us of balance. Desire, when misdirected, can pull the soul into the klipo, trapping it in materialism. This isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. In our culture, we're bombarded with images of sex as power or conquest, but the Zohar asks us to consider the energy we're cultivating. Modern psychology supports this. Studies show that deep emotional connection during intimacy boosts well-being, while disconnected encounters can leave us feeling hollow. I've felt that hollowness before, haven't you? That moment when the thrill fades and you're left wondering what you gave away. The Kabbalists weren't prudish, they were wise, urging us to wield desire with intention, like a sculptor shaping clay into art. When you think about your own moments of love, what do they create within you? Are they lifting you toward the divine or pulling you into the shadows? Let's pause and consider Thelema, the mystical system founded by Aleister Crowley in the early 20th century. Crowley's Liber al Vel Legis, or the Book of the Law, declares that love and desire are sacred when aligned with one's true will, the unique purpose of your soul. In Thelema, sex is a magical act, a ritual that channels divine energy. Crowley practiced sexual magic, believing that the energy of orgasm could be directed to manifest spiritual or worldly goals. This wasn't hedonism, it was discipline, a way to harness the raw power of desire. Reading Crowley's diaries, I was struck by his intensity. He saw every act of intimacy as a prayer, a conversation with the infinite, but he also warned that without focus, desire becomes chaos, scattering the soul's energy. It's a reminder that power demands responsibility. When you give yourself to someone, are you offering your highest self, or are you lost in the moment's heat? Thelema asks us to see sex as a canvas for creation, where every touch paints a stroke of eternity. Crowley's ideas were radical, but they built on ancient foundations. The Kybalion's law of vibration teaches that everything resonates, and in Thelema, sexual energy is a high-frequency force, capable of transforming reality. This aligns with the Kabbalistic view of the Shekinah and Tiferet, where union creates divine harmony. But Thelema adds a layer of individualism. Your true will is unique, and love is a way to express it. Crowley's rituals often involved elaborate preparations, candles, sigils, incantations, not to complicate things but to focus the mind. Imagine bringing that focus to your own life, not with occult trappings, but with a clear intention to make every act of love a reflection of your deepest purpose. What would that look like? For me, it's about being fully present, seeing my partner not just as a lover, but as a partner in a sacred dance. Have you ever felt that kind of connection, where love feels like a shared mission? Thelema also acknowledges the shadow side of desire. Crowley was no stranger to excess, and his life shows the dangers of losing balance. The Liber al Vel Legis warns that love must be under will, meaning it's not about indulgence, but about alignment. This resonates with modern challenges. In a world of dating apps and instant gratification, it's easy to lose sight of intention. Studies show that casual sex, while liberating for some, can lead to feelings of disconnection when it lacks emotional depth. It's as if the body knows when the soul isn't fully engaged. Thelema's answer is to treat desire as a magical force, one that requires discipline to wield. Think about the last time you felt truly connected in intimacy, not just physically, but as if your souls were entwined. That's the magic Crowley was chasing, the moment when desire becomes a bridge to the divine. When have you felt that bridge? That sense that love is more than just a moment. This perspective invites us to rethink our relationships. In Thelema, every person is a star, a unique expression of the divine. When you love someone, you're not just loving them, you're honoring their stardom, their unique place in the cosmos. This echoes Jung's idea of the conjunctio, the alchemical union of opposites within the psyche. Jung believed that sexual desire was a longing for wholeness, a drive to integrate the masculine and feminine within yourself. Thelemic sense, it's about aligning your will with the universe's flow, using love as a tool to become your truest self. It's a powerful idea, isn't it? That every act of love is a step toward your own divinity, a chance to shine brighter as the star you were born to be. What would it mean to approach your relationships with that reverence? To see every lover as a mirror of your own infinite potential? Now let's bring this closer to home. In our modern world, sex is everywhere, on screens, in songs, and casual conversations, yet it's often stripped of its sacredness, reduced to a transaction or a fleeting thrill. But what if we reclaimed its spiritual power? Think about the last time you felt truly connected in intimacy, not just physically, but as if your souls were entwined. That feeling, that electric current, aligns with what Carl Jung called the conjunctio, the alchemical union of opposites within the psyche. Jung believed that sexual desire wasn't just about the other person. It was a longing for wholeness, a drive to integrate the masculine and feminine within yourself. When you love someone, you're not just loving them, you're seeking the divine spark that they reflect back to you. It's why heartbreak hurts so deeply. It's not just loss, but a fracturing of that sacred mirror. Have you ever wondered why some lovers leave a mark on your soul, as if they've rewritten your inner stars? This idea of wholeness is central to the esoteric traditions. The Emerald Tablet speaks of the one thing, the primal substance that unites all. In love, that substance is desire, refined through intention into a force of creation. The Kabbalists saw this in the union of the Shekinah and Tiferet, Thelema in the alignment of true will, and Tantra in the dance of Shiva and Shakti. Each tradition points to the same truth. Sex is a crucible, a place where the raw material of passion is forged into spiritual gold. But it requires presence, like a painter choosing every stroke. In our culture, we're taught to rush, through dates, through encounters, through life. But what if we slowed down? What if we approached every act of love as a ritual, where every touch is a prayer, every glance a vow? I've tried this, and it's transformative, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. It's about seeing the divine in the person before you, even in their flaws. Have you ever felt that moment when love feels like a sacred act? Let's explore the warnings, because every light casts a shadow. Gnostic texts like Pistis Sophia caution that desire can bind us to the material world, ruled by the archons, cosmic entities that feed on distraction. The Gnostics saw sex as a double-edged sword, a path to divine gnosis when sacred, but a trap when driven by lust alone. This echoes the Zohar's warning about the nefesh being weighed down by unrefined desires. In modern terms, think about hookup culture, quick, disconnected encounters that leave you feeling empty. Science backs this up. Studies show casual sex can lower oxytocin bonding, leaving a sense of isolation. It's as if the body knows when the soul isn't present. I've felt that hollowness before, haven't you? That moment when the thrill fades and you're left wondering what you gave away. The ancients weren't prudish, they were wise. urging us to wield desire with intention, like a sculptor shaping clay into art. But there's hope in this wisdom. The Kybalion teaches that all is mind, and by directing our thoughts, we can transform our desires into acts of creation. Imagine approaching intimacy as a ritual, where every touch is a prayer, every glance a vow. In tantric traditions, which share roots with Hermeticism, sex is a meditative act, a slow dance that merges two souls into the divine. Practitioners spend hours in preparation, aligning breath and energy, because they believe orgasm is a glimpse of the infinite, a moment when the veil between worlds thins. Reading about Tantra, I was moved by its reverence. It's not about speed or conquest, but about presence. What would happen if you brought that mindfulness to your next moment of connection? Could it shift not just your body, but your entire being? For me, it's about pausing, breathing, and asking, what am I offering in this moment? It's a small act, but it feels like lighting a candle in a darkened room. This brings us to a deeper layer, the alchemy of desire. In Hermeticism, alchemy isn't just about turning lead into gold, it's about transforming the self. The Emerald Tablet speaks of the one thing, the primal substance that unites all. Desire, when refined, is that substance, a force that can elevate or destroy. The mystics of old, from the Kabbalists to Crowley, believed that sex could be a crucible, where the raw material of passion is forged into spiritual gold. But it requires intention, like a painter choosing every stroke. Think about the moments when you felt most alive in love, not just in the act, but in the connection, the vulnerability. That's the alchemy at work. The moment when your soul catches fire. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. When have you felt that fire, that sense that you're more than just a body? For me, it's in those quiet moments after, when the world feels softer, and I know I've touched something eternal. So, here we are, standing at the edge of a mystery that's as old as time. Why does sex hold such spiritual power? Perhaps because it's a reminder that we're not just bodies but souls, woven into the fabric of the infinite. The mystics, Hermes, the Kabbalists, Crowley, they all point to the same truth. Desire is a sacred force, a flame that can light the way or consume us. It's not about rules or guilt, it's about choice. Every touch, every glance, every moment of connection is a chance to create something eternal. So, I leave you with this question. When you next feel the pull of desire, will you rush through it, or will you pause and ask, what am I creating? The universe is listening, waiting for your answer.